The night shift in a hospital has a rhythm all its own. A quiet hum of machinery, the soft squeak of rubber-soled shoes on linoleum, the distant muffled cough from a patient's room. For the first few years, that's all it was for me. I'm Sarah, and I've been a nurse for over a decade. I've seen things that would make your stomach turn, but nothing prepared me for Ward C. It was an older wing of St. Jude's Hospital, mostly used for long-term care patients who were stable but needed monitoring. The graveyard shift here was supposed to be the easiest gig in the hospital. Fewer patients, less chaos. My first night on Ward C felt just like that. Quiet, almost too quiet. My duties were simple: hourly rounds, check vitals, administer scheduled meds, and chart everything. My partner for the night was an older, seasoned nurse named Brenda. She was gruff, didn't say much, and seemed permanently tired. During our handover, she gave me the patient files and a single piece of advice. Don't pay any mind to room 308. The call light's broken. Has been for years. I thought it was an odd thing to mention specifically, but I just nodded. Maintenance in an old building like this was always a step behind. I started my rounds. Room 301, Mr. Henderson, sleeping soundly. Room 302, Mrs. Gable, reading a book. Everything was normal. I passed room 308. The door was closed, a small faded sign on it read, "Storage." It made sense. An unused room with a broken call light. Around 2 a.m., the deep silence of the ward was pierced by a soft, electronic chime. The call light board above the nurse's station lit up. Room 308. I frowned, remembering what Brenda had said. I walked over and reset the board. Must be a short circuit, I figured. Old wiring. I went back to my charting. 15 minutes later, it chimed again. Room 308. This time, a little shiver went down my spine. I got up, walked down the long, dim hallway, and stood in front of the door. I could hear Brenda snoring softly from the break room. I was alone. I put my ear to the door. Silence. I reached out, my hand hesitating over the cold brass doorknob. Don't pay it any mind, Brenda had said. I took a deep breath, turned, and walked back to my desk. But it didn't stop. Every 15 to 20 minutes, like clockwork. Chime. Light. Room 308. It was starting to feel less like a malfunction and more like a game. A cruel, unnerving game. My heart was thumping. I tried to focus on my work, but my eyes kept darting to the light board, anticipating the next summons. Around 3:30 a.m. it happened again. But this time, it was different. After the chime, I heard something else. A faint, scratching sound. It sounded like it was coming from inside room 308. Like a fingernail being dragged slowly, deliberately down a wooden door. That was it. I couldn't ignore it anymore. My training, my instincts, everything told me to check it out. What if someone had gotten locked in there? A confused patient, a maintenance worker? My fear was overcome by my duty as a nurse. I grabbed the master key from the desk and marched down the hallway, my footsteps echoing unnaturally loud. The scratching stopped the moment my key slid into the lock. I turned it. The click was deafening in the silence. I pushed the door open. The air that rushed out was stale and cold, carrying a faint, cloying scent of antiseptic and something else. Something old and dusty. The room was exactly what you'd expect a storage room to be. Piled high with old equipment, discarded wheelchairs, boxes of expired supplies. A single bare window looked out onto the empty hospital courtyard, moonlight casting long, distorted shadows across the clutter. There was no one there. I stepped inside, my flashlight beam cutting through the gloom. I scanned every corner. Nothing. Just dusty relics of hospital life. I was about to leave, chalking it all up to an overactive imagination fueled by caffeine and fluorescent lighting, when my light fell upon the bed. It was an old iron frame hospital bed stripped of any mattress, and on the wall just above where the head of the bed would be, I saw it. Scratches, dozens of them, gouged deep into the plaster. They weren't random. They were tally marks, grouped in fives, just like a prisoner marking the days. There were hundreds of them, covering a huge patch of the wall. A cold dread washed over me. This wasn't a storage room. Not originally. This was a patient's room. I backed out slowly, my hand fumbling to close the door behind me. As I locked it, I heard it again. Not a scratch this time. A voice. A weak, raspy whisper, so faint I thought I'd imagined it. It came from the other side of the door. "Nurse, please. It's so cold." I froze. My blood turned to ice. It was the voice of an old woman, frail and desperate. It sounded so real, so close. I wanted to run, to scream, to wake Brenda up and tell her this ward was haunted, but I couldn't move. I just stood there, paralyzed, staring at the number on the door. 308. The next morning, as the sun began to rise, I saw Brenda packing her things to leave. My hands were still shaking. I had to know. "Brenda," I said, my voice trembling. "Room 308. What's the real story?" She sighed, a deep, weary sound, and finally looked at me, her eyes filled with a sadness I hadn't seen before. "Her name was Eleanor," she said quietly. "She was a patient here a long time ago, before they turned it into storage. She had no family. No one ever visited. She was terrified of being alone, especially at night. She'd press her call button constantly, just to have someone come in and talk to her to make sure she wasn't alone." Brenda paused, looking down the hallway towards the room. "One night there was a major incident in the ER. The whole hospital was chaos. We were all pulled to help. We were short-staffed up here. Eleanor's call light was on for hours. No one came. When we finally got back up here, she was gone. Her heart had given out. My own heart felt like it was about to do the same. The tally marks. She wasn't marking days. She was marking every time she pressed the call button, waiting for a nurse who never came. Some of the older staff say she's still here," Brenda continued, her voice barely a whisper. "Still waiting. Still calling for a nurse. That's why they say the light's broken. It's easier than telling the new nurses they might get a call from a ghost." I never worked on Ward C again. I transferred departments the next day. But sometimes, late at night, when the hospital is quiet, I swear I can still hear it. A faint, distant chime, and a raspy, pleading whisper on the edge of hearing, "Nurse, and please." It serves as a constant, chilling reminder that some patients never leave, and some calls for help are never truly silenced. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you have your own spooky experiences, I'd love to hear about them in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more chilling tales. Stay safe out there.